One of the painful truths of comedy. You always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
I'll hold you in contempt.
I hold myself in contempt!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the House of Contempt. We are very excited to be back here. It is one of my favorite times of year. We are right in the middle of this season where the leaves, they drop from the trees, and the temperature it decreases. These things just they descend. You know what I mean? They drop. Oh God. What's the word? They fail to hold on to the branches, and then they drop and they descend to the earth, and then leaves are all over the ground. And if only there was a word to describe this kind of happening that you see during this time of year. But we'll just stick with autumn. I think autumn sounds good. So, yeah, we are in the middle of October. It is the creepy season. Goblins, ghost schools, all that kind of fun shit. I've been watching a bunch of horror movies. If I sound sick, I am. I actually am. We'll get into that too. It's been a busy month. If you are not noticing, I have released this episode a lot later than the last two. I like to keep them on the monthly basis if I have to do them once a month, but I really wanted to do 4 this month, but with so much going on, that just didn't happen. So we're gonna try to push them out more regularly. It's been a busy ass month. I have had doctor's visits, work, rodeos, sickness, couple comedy things going on. It's been very busy. I wish I had a little bit more time to pump these episodes out, but we're doing what we can. So I appreciate the support that you guys have been doling out. It's been very motivating to see the views. You know, the last episode had more views than the last one, so we're hoping to have more views on this one. I have garnered more people. I've garnered more contacts. That's it. At shows, I've met new people. Shout out to Malicious Algorithm. They came to the open mic the other night. Checked me out. They said that they like what I had to say. So they just saw my act. They liked it. I checked them out on Facebook and Instagram. I like them. I'm a fan. So go check out Malicious Algorithm. That was a cool chance to meet those guys. Comedy and metal seem to go pretty well together. We had that show a couple weeks ago where all the metal fans came out, and you guys blew that place up. It was a lot of fun. God, when I had a concert between now and then, God, there's been so much to go on. This might be our longest episode. So, again, I apologize. I am so fucking stuffed up. My chest is congested. It's been a fucking busy ass month. I don't know what I got. With all of COVID, you kind of forget that other sicknesses exist. So, I've been trying to nip this shit in the bud with, fluids, what's the word? Immune support vitamins. I don't know. And I'm feeling a lot better than I was. Really, what I think happened was, so I've been working at the Metro, and we had a team roping that came through, and we poured the dirt down, put the rodeo steel up, had everything kind of set up for the team roping for all the steers and horses. We built barns, we built stables, we built all sorts of shit. And we had to take that down And while we were taking that down, like, it was so fucking dusty in the metro that you couldn't see from across the arena at one point, just how dusty it was. And we were just walking through there. I went to go blow my nose after we had to shovel, clean, sweep, do all this stuff. I'm sorry. And it was just so fucking dusty. I went to blow my nose. Mud. I blew out mud from my nose, and it was absolutely disgusting. And I noticed a couple days after that, my sinuses started kind of burning up. And slowly, I think I got a sinus infection. It just kind of worked its way into my chest or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I did go see one. If you guys have been seeing my act, you'll know I have been having some butthole problems. And I have chosen to be very open with that. Just as a comedian, it's a way of dealing with it, I will say. The doctor went to check my butthole. It was quite an experience. My girlfriend and I accidentally scheduled our doctor's appointments on the same day. So we went to each other as kind of a emotional support. It's never fun to get your butthole fingered. Although, I mean, I've had it. This was kind of a follow-up appointment. I went to a physician's assistant. She checked me out. That was the worst one because I was all emotional and stuff. I was like, God, I'm just so ready for this butthole pain to be over with. And she understood, and she went and checked me out. And by the time we were done talking, she's like, I don't know. Can I look again? I gotta go double. I'm like, yeah, totally fine. Like by the end of the meeting, we were totally comfortable with each other. I was like, yeah, go ahead, take another peek at my butthole, see what you see. And she checked it out, and then I went to see the surgeon the other day, and because he needed to give a second opinion, because she didn't have all the know-how. The physician assistant didn't have all the know-how, and the doctor gets in there, and this is my third doctor's visit in my entire adult life. And I'm going to see this surgeon, and we get to talking, and I tell him about all the things I've been reading up on, and he seemed pretty impressed with what I knew, because with this issue, I've been just Googling just like a motherfucker. I've been trying to figure out everything that could be wrong with me, etc. And he seemed kind of impressed with how much I knew. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cool. I threw around these words, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you were definitely in the weeds. I can tell that." So he's like, He was kind of weird though, and I couldn't place it when I got in there. But I went to talk to my girlfriend, and we kind of reflected on it. And this dude was a very eccentric doctor. But he was talking. He was like, he's spitting those compliments out. But he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get up in there," and he held his hand with his other hand and swirled his pointer finger around, and he's like, "We're gonna get up there with my magic finger and feel around." And I was just like, okay. Oh, okay. And he left. He's like, "I'll be right back. We'll get this going." And I was like, okay, gotta go get the anal lube. Understandable. And then he comes back with this nurse. All right. Now, she's a pretty attractive lady, and she looked like a cheerleader type, like a really kind of. We wouldn't run in the same circles in high school, kind of chick. She seemed very Christian-y, and I think she took one look at me. I had my skinless shirt on, and I think she took one look at me, and she's like, "Oh my God, I gotta look at your butthole." And it gets better, because the doctor, he says, "This is so-and-so." And I forgot her name, and it's probably best not to mention it. But he's like, "This is so-and-so. She's new here. I told her that if she wants to work here, she's got to look at a butthole. So you're her first." And I was like, oh my God. Okay. And I haven't shaved. I haven't prepared. My butthole looks like... It looks like two vaginal lips hanging. Let's just say that. So I literally do have a badusi, or whatever whatever you call that. It's rough back there. So this is the first patient's butthole that this nurse is seeing, and I have to give her that pleasure. And the doctor, I don't know what, because he wasn't coaching her. He didn't say anything to her. He was just like, all right, we're going to get up in there. And he like fingers my butthole with the lube. And he's like, this feels cold, but it's actually room temperature. It just feels cold because we don't. I'm like, I don't need this lesson right now, doc. I didn't say that, but he gets up in there and he feels, and he's like, is that where it hurts? And in pain, I'm like, fuck, yeah, that's where it hurts. And I'm like, in pain, and I'm like clenching my teeth, and it's burning, and it fucking hurts. And he's like, yeah, that does feel like it would hurt. And he keeps fucking stabbing it. And I'm like, God, okay, we're good. I actually was like, we're good. Okay, I got it. And he's like, yep, you don't see that on Google, do you? And I think, and then like 2 seconds later, the nurse didn't say one word to me when she came in. She didn't say hello, anything like that. She took one look at me, and I saw how horrified she was. I think she was more horrified about it than I was, because, I mean, I was like, get back there. This is your job, But then, without saying goodbye, anything, she sleeks out of the room, and I was like, it was like fucking Batman. It's like I was like Commissioner Gordon or something like that. Like I turned around, talked to the doctor, and I turned around, and she's gone. And she just wanted to get the fuck out of there. And reflecting on it, I think this doctor is on pills. I mean, I'm making a judgment call. I'm making a total judgment call, but I think he was on pills. And he was just he was a weird guy. And he gave me a pretty basic diagnosis, honestly. From all my Googling, it was the diagnosis I had expected. And yeah, it was a weird one, but that was the other day. And then yeah, I think he was on pills. It was a weird doctor. If I have to go back, I will, but nothing turned me off it. He did say that if I have to talk to anyone, I have to talk to that nurse. So we're going to have to, I guess at some point, if I have to go back, we'll have to get to talking. So, so yeah, that was the doctor's visit. Oh, by the way, before I get any further, I'd like to do our album of the month really quick, because that might pertain to a little bit more of what we're talking about here. So, our album of the month is going to be, if you've been following me on Instagram, I've been posting these birthdays of albums. Haven't been so much lately, just with how busy I've been. Also on top of the movies, which I'll get to. But there was a birthday this month that I actually wasn't able to post, and it was my favorite album by Judas Priest. It was the Jugulator album. And the reason that one was my favorite album, I had heard Breaking the Law and Painkiller and Turbo Lover and stuff like that, but I was watching Bride of Chucky, like balls deep in my high school career, like when I was like a little goth kid, and that soundtrack was so fucking dope. It had White Zombies, Thunderkiss 65, Living Dead Girl, Monster Magnet, Bruce Dickinson, Slayer, Judas Priest. It had an amazing fucking soundtrack, and there was a song on there called Bloodstained, and it was by Judas Priest, but it was, at the time I didn't know it wasn't by Rob Halford Judas Priest. It was by Tim Ripper Owens Judas Priest. And that album, like, there's that whole summer that I was like into that movie. I just went through this breakup, and I was listening to this album, the whole fucking Bride of Chucky album, and this one song I was really listening on repeat, and it just, I hear this album and this song, and it just makes me think of that summer hanging out with my friend Everson. We were at baseball games and shit like that, and it's one of my favorite albums. And its birthday was in October, which is perfect for the spooky months because of Bride of Chucky and whatnot. It just felt right to have Jugulator by Judas Priest be our album of the month. And I'll try to post it. To be honest, from what I understand, Judas Priest has actually tried to wipe that era of their band out. Because, I don't know, it's kind of like how these movies retcon certain sequels. They don't want to acknowledge the weird parts. I personally loved the Ripper era of Judas Priest, and personally a little bit more than Halford. Halford's a classic. He's set in stone. He's one of the Mount Rushmores of heavy metal, you know. So the dude doesn't need a whole lot extra love, but I mean, you got to really appreciate Tim Ripper Owens. The dude had amazing range. He stepped in those shoes so eloquently, and the music on those albums are super dark, and it felt like a very mature step for the band to take. And if you've ever seen, I get this mixed up. I get these two mixed up. I think it's Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg, not the one with Rainn Wilson, but Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg is somewhat based on Tim Ripper's story, where he was in a tribute band to Judas Priest, and when Rob Halford left, they found this dude in a tribute band, and they put him in the band as the main singer. I remember watching the movie. It was pretty cool. And then, again, Tim Ripper's one of my favorite singers. So, all the support for Tim Ripper Owens there. He does now the Dio Disciples tour. He stepped in for... so, after Ronnie James Dio died, his old band got together, and they hired Tim Ripper Owens to do the vocals for a kind of a Dio, more or less cover band, but it's the original band with a different singer. Tour. It was pretty cool. They're called the Dio Disciples. It's pretty fucking dope as a Dio fan. Again, I think Ripper had the absolute best chops to step into that role. He's a great singer. So more appreciation, more love to him in that era that doesn't get enough of it, in my opinion. I've been watching a lot of Bar Rescue lately, and unfortunately, Tim Ripper's bar was on Bar Rescue. From what I understand, they actually shut down, unfortunately. I think they had 2 locations. I think one's open. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'd like to go see that. I love metal bars, like Black Sky Brewery in Colorado. I love metal bars. We have the Rainbow here in Billings. I consider a metal bar, even though I don't think it's so much so anymore. But back in the day, when after we would finish up shows at the Rail Yard, we would all kind of migrate over to the Rainbow and have a few drinks. That's where I spent my 21st birthday too. Mario, who's just always wearing a Skeleton Witch shirt over at the Rainbow, likes to get people hammered. It's one of his favorite things. So if you go over to the Rainbow, you're gonna get drunk. So, but yeah. So our album of the month, Jugulator by Judas Priest. Go check them out. That kind of leads into, Brad Chucky horror movies. So October's been big with horror. I mean, I've been big. That's more like my tradition with October is to just watch as many horror movies as possible. With how busy I have been, I've not been able to do it like every night. But if you go on my Instagram and on my Facebook, you'll see our list. It's not numbered. I don't have all the programs for graphic design, so I have to do a lot of the stuff very DIY. And you'll see the list of movies that I'm watching this month. We are currently, it's the 20th, so we're on night 20, obviously. Let me go see. I'll look that up, see where we're at. But it's been pretty cool. I've always done this for October, is just kind of watch a array of horror movies. The way we're doing it this year, though, is every night we try to make it scarier. So the first night was Practical Magic, which obviously is not that scary. It's kind of a chick flick, And then we went Once Bitten, which is Jim Carrey's first. It was his first role, and he plays a virgin trying to get laid, but ends up hooking up with a vampiress who needs virgin blood to stay young. Pretty fun. I might just go through all these, or at least the ones we watched. And we watched Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I haven't seen, so this is mine and my girlfriend's first time seeing it. And wow, I'm not gonna lie, I was holding back tears at the end there with what they did. No spoilers, but it's a great ending. I like it. It wasn't super woke where, they're shoving this shit down your throat. No, everyone had a great role to play. Everyone had a part to play. Everyone was great and likable. And that's the hardest thing for Hollywood to do anymore, it seems, is write likable characters. But I loved every single one of those characters in that movie. I couldn't recommend it more. I'm not gonna lie, the third act kind of falls into the Force Awakens formula, where it just kind of rehashes, it remakes the first movie or the movie, the original. It was great though. Totally recommend. Go watch it. We watched Beetlejuice, Army of Darkness, The Faculty, Tremors, Lost Boys. We had a friend over for the Lost Boys. That was a lot of fun. I love hearing other people's perspective on these 80 movies because our friend was like, we were just all talking. We were like reminiscing, like about the 80s and stuff. And we were talking about how people used to be social and people used to go out. And it's cool talking about that with people from your, like in your age group because I don't know, like we really, like people in my age and like in their 20s and really the young adults nowadays, we really don't talk about how we don't, I don't know. There's this unspoken thing among all of us, I think. There's an unspoken understanding among a bunch of us about how things used to be and how things were because we're a generation that saw kind of the change. We saw the changeover between phones or real, people engaging in real life communities and people engaging in online communities. We saw the big changeover, and I think people in the 20s recognize that in an unspoken way, and we don't talk about it enough, I don't think. But when we watched The Lost Boys, it was kind of nice having a friend over, and we could talk about that. We're like, look at how things used to be. People used to go out and engage with each other. There wasn't all this like social anxiety and stuff like that. Or if there was, people, there was the community. You had your real life communities to fall back on versus your online communities, and it was in my opinion, a lot more of a fulfilling way of living. But I'm getting off track here. This is a horror movie rant, so yeah. So we watched The Lost Boys, which was again cool. All these movies are kind of old, well, so far. And then we watched Final Destination. I haven't seen that one in a while. It was good at building tension. That was one of those. I watched a lot of the sequels, and you realize a lot of the sequels really water down what makes the first one so great. Any of these, if you go on my Instagram and you see that I don't post about any of these, or I missed a couple. I'm gonna find a way to get back around to them. Like I said, we've been busy, so I had to miss a couple nights. It's just unrealistic to do 31 2-hour movies every night by 10 o'clock. But we're trying. Oh man, there's a few of them. I mean, tonight we got to watch Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is one of my all-time favorites. My girlfriend hasn't seen it. It's got a great cast. Keanu Reeves, Anne Hathaway. Anthony fucking Hopkins plays Dr. Van Helsing. Like, get the fuck out of here, and then Gary Oldman plays Dracula. It's just a fucking stacked cast. So we are gonna watch that one tonight. It's one I'm most excited for. We watched Invisible Man last night, which I think I could tell I was watching my girlfriend watch it, and I could see that she's like, oh my god, there's a few parts that I think got her. That was another good movie. One thing about them, when they set up a sequel, and I have no idea how a sequel would work. Like, is she going to be the abusive one in a relationship, stalking someone? But they totally set up a sequel, and they talk about a sequel that's coming out, so I'm curious how they're going to do that. And then this Friday, what's today? 20th. So we got... Yep, okay. So... Is it tomorrow? 20th, 21st. Oh, okay. It must be Saturday. Saturday, we are going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Babcock, which I have heard some crazy things about. People get up and dance. They dress up. I've only recently seen this within the last year. It reminded me very much of Alice Cooper music. I can really dig on that 70s kind of creepy, crazy, crawly, kooky kind of crazy stuff. So I like it. I'm not big on musicals. I have a friend who's not either. And his girlfriend's tried to get him to... We watched Sweeney Todd this month, and his girlfriend's trying to get him to watch Sweeney Todd and Rocky Horror and stuff. And I admit I'm not a big musical fan, but there's aspects. I think there's enough of those other movies that aspects of those other movies that I like. You know, like Sweeney Todd. It's got Johnny Depp, and some of the songs can't be terrible. I mean, I've heard a few of them. And then, like I said, Rocky Horror really reminds me of Alice Cooper. A lot of the music, and I found out that the creator of Rocky Horror based a lot of I think he based Dr. Frankenfurter on Alice Cooper. So I like it for the music in that aspect, especially because, like I said, it reminds me of Alice Cooper's old stuff. And then the story's pretty fun. I can see where it's a classic. There's some stuff in there that really reminds me of Land of the Living Dead, like that first scene where they're in the cemetery. It's got to be a parody of some sort. But we'll be going to the movie theater. We'll be going to the Babcock, which is a very classic theater here in Billings. I love that place. They got the great They got the best popcorn, best price drinks, candy. It's a great theater. I love going on date nights there with my friends. So yeah, if you're in Billings, go check it out. I know a few of my comedian friends. The host of Laughed Your Ass Off, Gary Mudridge. I saw him. He went last year. He dressed up. Am I gonna dress up? I don't know. I love any excuse to, and I'd have to talk to my girlfriend about it. By the way, my girlfriend absolutely rocks the Dr. Frankenfurter outfit. If I get permission, I'll post it over this video because she does such a good job of it. And then tomorrow then after that we got the Blob. Let the Right One In. We got a few other ones, and then I'm gonna be the 29th here in Billings is basically gonna be Halloween. That's the big party night. That's Friday, I believe. That's gonna be the Friday weekend of Halloween. So that's when everyone's going out. There's this thing in Billings called Purgatory. It's a big dance party at the Metra, which I might end up working. I don't know. No, I can't. I won't do it. But that's the 29th is the big night for Halloween. So if you're doing anything on the 29th, let me know. Let's hang out. Let's do something. Excuse me. But we're also going to catch the showing of the original Halloween at the Babcock that night. I'm hoping to make it with a few friends. I've just always wanted to see that in actual theaters, and it's such a good movie. Like, it's so classic, and the sequels have watered it down, and I haven't seen the 3 new ones. I read the plots, and they are hilarious, but people act like there's this resurgence of slasher movies, and kinda, but maybe I'm too old. But there was a slight resurgence when I was in school, and because you had the remakes, you had the Friday the 13th, you had those like original remakes. Like the phases of the horror, it goes like you have the original, then you have the numerous sequels, then you have the remake, and then you have the requels, which are sequels to the original that are remakes but with different characters and kind of it's like the same plot from the original but updated with new characters. Those are called requels or legacy reboots or something. There's all sorts of names for them, and that's what this new era of slasher is. And I'm not big on it. I didn't like the new Scream movies. 4, I loved 4 because that one made sense. They were parodying the remake, And actually, I actually did see the stuff for 5, and I think that makes some sense too. That one might have to grow on me a little bit, but they don't need 6. There's nothing that justifies 6. We're not doing enough slasher movies nowadays to justify a 6. And then there's Halloween. I mean, I don't know. They're making these sequels that they're making sequels to the requels. It's giving me a fucking seizure, and I don't know. It's unnecessary in my opinion. I like the originals. I think you can. I'm in a mood nowadays where I prefer more original stuff. I'm completely fucking over these franchises. I'm over Star Wars, Marvel, DC. They've all shit the bed in one way or another the last couple years. They've all gone downhill. Even Game of Thrones. I heard there's a new Game of Thrones series out, and I'm fucking over that one too because the last one, like, I heard it's good, but I just can't get into franchises anymore. I'm so over it. I am really, really in the mood for a lot more original content. Like, The Invisible Man's not so much original, but they took an original approach with it, and it was a lot more personal, grounded. It wasn't so big and blown up like some of these other movies, and I like that. I'm really digging on some of these smaller movies lately, and I won't lie, like DC even managed to pull it off with the Batman. It was a smaller, more grounded, not so blown up CGI fuckfest of a movie. You know, like these movies can be done well. You just have to let them, or you have to tone it down a little bit with some of the fucking CGI. What was the Black Adam came out, and then what was the other one that I thought? Morbius. That was another bad one. Things aren't going well for these franchises. I'm so over them. So, I think the good stuff had its day. We milked it literally dry for the next. The good stuff had its day in like the 80s. We milked it dry for like 40 years. Okay, I think we can give it all a rest. And I think now's a good time to start coming up with like some cool new stuff. I don't know. Is there anything left that's new and original that's fun? I don't know. I write some stuff, but I mean, I write whatever I think's cool, and I don't base it off anything. Oh, we need more of this. I think the world needs less zombie movies. The world needs more sci-fi. I don't write like that. I just write whatever I think's cool. And I don't know. Franchises are a bust nowadays. But we're ending Halloween. We're ending all these movies with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I know what everyone's about to think or say, and I haven't seen these movies. I know. Crazy. I haven't seen any of them, maybe but bits and pieces. So this whole month was about seeing movies that I haven't seen before. And then the 30th, so the night after Halloween and the night before Texas Chainsaw, I'm watching The Exorcist. And that's another one that I haven't seen before. So, for a horror fanatic, as big of one as I am just as surprised as you that I have not seen those two movies. So, we're going to get them off the bucket list. I guarantee you, I'm going to love them. That's why I haven't seen them. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm going to like them. Let me see a movie that I'm not sure I'm going to like. Let me see, like we're going to watch Let the Right One In this month. And that's kind of I've heard good things, but let me see. Let me see if it's good. So so what else we've had going on in October? It's been a lot this month. We had the Nile Rodeo going on. I went to team roping with my girlfriend. We went to watch the horses. She likes to watch the horses and the cattle and stuff. And then I was setting up for the Nile Rodeo, which I think the first night is tonight. Yep. Tonight's the first night of the Nile Rodeo. And while I was setting up for that, they were having herding dog competitions. And my girlfriend loves to watch that stuff. And I do too. It's something to do. So we went and checked that out. It's it was free. Like some of the team roping and the herding dog shit, it's free. It's the cheapest date you can go on. We bought. They have Fuddruckers at the Metro. We bought Fuddruckers and watched herding dogs and team roping, and it was the cheapest. Honestly, the funnest, cheapest date I've ever been on. Like, it doesn't take a lot to please your girlfriend, guys. All right, go show her animals and feed her chicken fingers. They'll be completely happy. Speaking of dates, another date we went on this month was we went to see Necrogoblicon. Well, it was Gwar headlining, but I don't really pay much attention to Gwar ever since Odorous died. But Necrogoblicon is one of my favorite bands. It's one of my girlfriend's favorite bands. If I'm ever trying to get someone into heavier metal, that's the band I usually show them. And they put on such a good show. It was a small stage. It was in like the parking lot of the pub station. It was really small. The stage was really compact. I was wondering if I was going to get a call to work that show, and then I didn't. And then I got there and I saw how big the stage was. I'm like, oh, you can put that up in like an afternoon. That wouldn't take but like 2-3 hours. So I didn't get to set that up, but great show. Crowbot opened They had a great opening. Every one of those bands had a great like theatrical edge to them. Like Crowbot opened, they had a giant egg, rock and roll dinosaur egg or something like that, and the singer jumped out, and that singer had so much fucking energy. You couldn't pick a better fucking band to open, because Crowbot, that singer, he's flinging the microphone around with the cord. He's fucking humping the air. He's smoking giant ass doobies on stage. He's jumping out of dinosaur eggs. The dude puts on a great show. You couldn't pick a better band to open. I like them. I heard a few songs by them. Pretty fucking cool. Didn't think I'd ever see them live, but they opened for Necrogoblicon. And Necrogoblicon just fucking blew everyone away. Go check out my Instagram for those videos. It was awesome. For as little space that they had, they still just they danced around, they jammed out, it was just one of my favorite shows that I've been to at the pub. They had to do it outside because Guar, the last time they were at the pub, they made too much of a mess. So they spew blood, semen, hopefully fake, guts, all sorts of other shit. They tear apart presidents. They don't care who is in office. They tore apart Trump. They tore apart Biden. They tore apart Bush, Clinton. They tear apart Hillary. I think they have a bit where they throw Putin. They tear apart Putin and stuff like that. They just do all these horrendous stuff to these like politicians and like they dress these people up in costumes, and they do all this horrendous stuff to them, like disembowel them and rip their face off, and it's awesome. They feed them to dogs and shit like that. It's great. It's a great theatrical thing. I didn't stick around for that one. I like Guar when they had some edge to them, and Odorous really brought that edge. I don't want to say they're PC anymore because they're really not, but Odorous really made sure that they weren't PC. And when he passed, I don't know. I just to me, I quit laughing at the band, or I stopped laughing with the band and started laughing at the band. So, R.I.P. Odorous Ungerous. I wish I could have seen you live. I think in the span of between this last episode, there's the announcement, the Black Dahlia murder announcement, that the guitarist Brian Esbach is going to be taking over vocals for Black Dahlia murder, and that's pretty cool. I think those guys are gonna do Trevor justice, and they're gonna honor his legacy. Brian's been doing backups in that band for a while, so it just totally makes sense to put him on there. It sounds like they're going to just continue forward, as is. As sad as it is that he passed, I'm very, very grateful that I got to see him live twice. I got to meet him, got to high-five him. He was such a warm dude. Trevor was such an awesome dude, and it's so sad that there are people out there that won't get to see him live. It's how I feel. That's how I feel about Pantera, despite what's going on with them right now. I think to myself, man, I'm never going to get to see them live. I'm never going to see that energy put out by them. And yeah, that's how I feel about maybe the next generations going forward. They're going to be like, man, Trevor was so fucking cool. I wish I could have seen him live. And I'm going to be that old dude. I'm going to be one of those old fucking metal dudes. I'm finally there. Sitting in the fucking audience, be like, yep, I saw him live twice. And that's how I am with people with Pantera. I'm like, dude, you fucking saw Pantera? What? Or I saw Black Sabbath, but when people saw those old original bands, I get so jealous, because metal is so generational. It's so generationally driven. And you can measure it by the bands or the fans or however you want to. But I was at this Necrogoblicon show, and I looked around, and I'm like, what's with all these kids? And then I realized, I'm like, oh, shit, I'm the old one now. Like, it used to, these shows are usually 18 and up, you know what I mean? So up until recently, I was just turning 18, so everyone was, like, kind of the old one for me. The old guys. I saw the old people in the pit, I saw old people out sitting there and watching the mosh pit, and they're like, I'm like, why don't they get in? I was like, they're not getting in because they're old or something like that. And then I'm going to these shows recently, and I'm like, fuck, man, I can't mosh like I used to, and I fucking, with my butthole problems, I was too afraid to get in the pit and fucking fuck that up and fall on my ass and who knows what. So it was humbling in a lot of ways to see the younger generation start to take the torch for these shows. Makes me very proud that we as my generation didn't fail them and turned everyone off, you know. And it's also sad because I miss being that kid. You know what I mean? Time's a river. You're never gonna fight. You're never gonna be able to win. So I have to be the old guy at the shows now, and I have to tell my stories about how I saw Black Dahlia Murder live twice. I saw Vinnie Paul. I met him. You know, I saw him in Hell Yeah, whatever. You know, I have to tell the stories now. I have to pass on the torch, which is the way it will be for those kids too at some day or at some point. You know, it's cool though. Billings is growing. I see a lot of people that I don't normally see at these shows, so I'm seeing new faces. With that comes new taste in music. People into new things. I see, like I said, Malicious Algorithm. I mean, they're the new band that just came in. They came in from California to check out a comedy show. I like to network with people. I like to meet new bands like that. That's how I found out about a band named Macabre. Great band. Not sure what they've been doing lately, but one of my favorites, they came through a while ago. Open for Sepultura, and they came on their own not too long after that. Really groovy band, really cool party death metal kind of shit. So, really quick, I am going to take a quick break here. I need to go get some cough medicine and grab a drink. We'll be right back.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by no one. If you would like to be a sponsor on this channel, send us your information at daemonmichael.comedy at gmail.com or follow the link in the description below. Also, whatever you need, man. Diet supplements, websites, boner pills, you name it and I'll sell it. That's how that works. That email again is daemonmichael.comedy at gmail.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back. All right, so the other thing that happened this month was I had a comedy show. I did my first roast. It was the roast of Ken Palmer, who's a very funny comedian here in town. He was supposed to be on the show. He was supposed to be my first guest. We're going to see how that works out. Excuse me. Just getting guests is kind of hard. I'm trying to figure that out. On top of just getting these recorded on time and just making sure that I have them out for you guys. So, we'll get Ken on here hopefully soon. I have a couple guests lined up. Like I said, I was supposed to have Ken on so we could talk about the show. But that was a lot of fun. It was my first roast. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how hard to go. I didn't know how hard people were going to go with each other. There were some low blows. There were some jokes where I didn't get, I guess. I don't know. It's Billings, so they're, you know. Some people are actually pretty good roasters. Some people had like some legitimately good roast that I actually think is better than their act. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they should just focus on that more. That style of comedy more. Because it does them very well. Fits them very well. Got to meet some people. I met a couple new comedians that I hadn't actually got to properly meet. Gary Busby, Wendell Weaver. All very, very nice guys that made me laugh pretty hard. My buddy Nicholas Rogers, who, another guest I'd like to have on soon, cracked me the fuck up. He had my favorite joke of the night. Everyone did well that night. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if I do a roast for my birthday. I have a few comedians in mind for who I'd like to roast me, who I think would be very good at it. And the more I think about it, the more fun I think it would be, because if you get a good lineup, if you get a good arsenal of people up there, it can be a hilarious show. And I can think of a couple people right off the top of my head who I think would be just great at roasting me. I'm surprised not a lot of people went for metal. Like, I didn't get a lot of shit for being a metalhead. I didn't get a lot of shit for for dark humor or anything like that. I got a lot of shit for not showing up to things, which is weird because I feel like I show up to a lot of things. I don't know. That was the weird one to get. So, I was really hoping people would be a bit more brutal with me, to be honest. I was hoping people would tear me apart. So, I am so sorry that that last episode with the Queen dying, I was pretty energetic. I am so sorry. I'm all fucking wrecked. I'm probably sounding like a dead man. But I think we're gonna get a few episodes out this month. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to get one of them with a guest if I can figure that out. Yeah, there's a new open mic too that I'm gonna be checking out. It's at the Decava Coffee House at my old workplace, the Pickle Barrel, or where that used to be, because they went down the drain. That's what you get for hiring fucking managers that ask your underage employees for nudes. But anyway, Decava Coffee House is now in charge of that building. I saw video of the open mic the other day, and it seemed to be a very successful kind of gig. They do karaoke as well. I think they have something on Tuesdays too, but it's every other Friday. They have something going on there for comedy. So I'm going to be doing that. We have Cameron Records every Tuesday, as usual. And then we have Craft Local every third Wednesday. They have the open mic. Every third Tuesday, they have the open mic at Craft Local. Excuse me, one sec. Welcome to Billings. They have a showcase at the end of every month where I select a bunch of comedians do a show down there at Craft. Craft is expanding, and it's looking it's looking nicer. It's looking cooler. They're getting bigger. The crowds are about the same, about as diverse. The last open mic we had, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people kind of left by the end of it. It was late. I always bitch because I'm like, God, we should be allowed to, go up for not as long as we need, but we should be able to have I bitch about my time allotted on stage sometimes. And the other night, everyone just kind of, no one got a light, and I can see why that would be an issue, because people were just going on and on and on, and then audience members were leaving and stuff like that. Not to the discredit of any of the comedians, because I actually heard a few good jokes from people I don't normally hear good jokes from. And I saw some new blood and whatnot. Just sometimes people go on, so I don't know if I ever did a show, I'd go for quality, not quantity. I'd get a handful of the best comics, put them on there, and let them just unleash for as long as they needed, because that's what they do. Oh yeah, and then Laugh Your Ass Off every second and fourth Wednesday. That's another open mic. Billings is we're regrowing from the pandemic. I've heard rumblings that Billings used to be a pretty cool comedy show, or comedy city, and that is I only got into comedy right at the end of the pandemic, so we'll see how that turns around here. I'm seeing more people coming out. I'm seeing more venues open up. Shout out to Beefcake Comedy. They're doing a thing at the Loft. I'd like to go check that out. They're having Ken Palmer on, LeRae, Paul McCarter, a bunch of good comedians here in Billings. The Loft is one of my favorite venues, so I would recommend checking that out if you have the time. They've been advertising the shit out of it. Rudy Mockel, Mike Craighill, and Brandon Lucky are consistent of beefcake comedy, and great comedians, great people, and a very nice venue. Whew. I am sorry. I am sounding like shit today. I am so low energy. I don't know what it is. I've just been beat. It's been that week of work and comedy and all that other shit, but I've been having a fucking awesome time. Like, I know I sound low energy, but I sound like shit, but I'm actually having a great October. Everything's been going pretty well in my neck of the woods. Comedy's been going well. I wish I could do this more often, and I'm going to. I think, oh God, depending on how many weeks we have left here, I'm going to try to get a episode out every week, because I definitely have a few more things to talk about for this month. October is one of my favorite months. There's never a lack of things to talk about. But yeah, that might wrap it up for this episode. I appreciate you guys checking it out. If you guys go to my Instagram, follow me on there. I'm on TikTok, Twitch. I've been posting stuff on Twitch. I've been doing my streams on Twitch and posting stuff from those streams. I've been playing Far Cry 6, which has been a lot of fun. I just beat it, so we're going to be moving on to a new game here soon. I think we're going to be playing I'm just going to be streaming my Dead by Daylight rounds for October. Having some fun with that. I got some new killers just today, so it's October. We're going to be going just balls deep into all this shit, so keep an eye out. I got some more horror themed stuff coming up. I 100% guarantee you that there will be a new episode on the 31st, so check back on Halloween. We'll 100% do a special Halloween episode. If I can figure out a way to live stream some of that, like on Facebook or something, we will. So yeah, come check it out. Check that out. It'll be fun. I 100% guarantee we'll do something for Halloween. And then we'll try to get some guests on as well. And yeah, just keep checking out the open mics. I'm at all those ones every month. It's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at Cameron Records, Craft Local, Red Door, and Dakava Coffee House, or Tea House, I think it is. The scene's staying healthy. It's growing. We're all getting along. It's good to see that. So, if you yourself been thinking about wanting to do comedy, we are so fucking accommodating. Every one of these open mics will let you on. My first comedy open mic, I didn't sign up. I saw some of these other comedians do jokes, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought to myself, I could probably go up and do about the same, if not better, than these guys. And I did. And I've been doing it ever since. It's been a lot. So if you feel like that you have the comedy bug in you, come check it out. And then if you feel like you can get up and do it, put your name on. We'll accommodate. As far as anything else, Beefcake Comedy, they have their big show at the Loft coming up this month. So check that out. You can also catch me at the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Babcock Theater on the 22nd. I'm just going to be going as an audience member. And then we're going to be going to Halloween on the 29th at the Babcock Theater, again as an audience member. But let me know. We'll go check it out. I'll try to bring some comedian friends, and you get to hang out with us. I don't know. I don't know if we're cool enough for you to want to hang out with or what. But thank you to the 60-some people that watched the last episode. Hopefully this episode does just as well. I don't think we have as much to talk about on this one as we did the last one. Long live the Queen. God bless America. And thanks for tuning in, guys.